Hey everybody, my name's Scott. Thanks for watching. Today I'm going to do something I've never done before. Actually, I'm going to do a couple things I've never done before. Number one, I'm filming this intro before I get started on my project. So I literally have no idea how this is going to turn out. Number two, I am going to be building a project based on plans that I designed myself. Now, they're pretty simple plans, but I've never done this before, so let's see how this turns out. Okay, I am going to show you a little bit about the plans that I made. This is for a raised garden bed on legs. And this is something I've never done before. When my dad was alive, he used to do these kind of plans all the time, and I was always impressed with his ability to put his thoughts and his design ideas on paper, and it's something I've never attempted to do before. So this is what I came up with. The garden bed is going to be on legs, and it's going to be 36 inches tall. It's going to be about 2 inches deep and about 3 inches wide, and the bed itself is going to be between 9 and 14 inches deep to put soil in. So as you can see, I just started drawing out with a pencil and a straight edge, and then I made a cut list, which is something else I've never done before. So let's get right to it. Here I'm using a clamp to make a stop block, and that's going to help me make repeated cuts easier. Okay, so I've already found a mistake in my plans. It says that I need 8 36-inch pieces, but in my cut list I actually made 9. So I've got an extra board. But that's fine. I caught it now, so I'll just not do this board. I'm cutting the legs out first, and I'm trying to find the straightest boards for the legs, because I think that's most important for the legs to be straight versus the rest of the project. But don't worry, I still have no idea what I'm doing. Let me show you what I just saw. And this is part of the problem when you're working with cheap wood. I just threw this down, and this piece busted off. I'm not going to worry about it though. I'll just deal with it when I put it together. Maybe I'll glue it. Maybe I'll cut a new piece. The last repetitive cut is going to be 21. We'll do 8 of those. I'm going to do the leg assemblies first, and let me show you how I'm doing that. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to just glue and screw or just glue the legs. I'm not really sure if I want the screw heads showing, but again, outdoor garden bench, I'm going to paint it white. I don't think it really matters. So the way I'm doing this leg setup is I've got 2 36-inch pieces that I'm going to attach like that into an L shape. So I'll just make 4 of these, and I'll have my legs. Okay, I think I am going to glue and screw, just because I don't think I have enough clamps to hold everything together all at once. Screw holes aren't going to really matter because I'm going to paint the thing anyways. So let me show you how I'm going to do the leg assembly. A little bit more. I need a camera guy. Okay, so for this project, I'm going to be using Titebond 2. It's pretty much what all the YouTube woodworkers use. There's Titebond 1, Titebond 2, and Titebond 3. Titebond 1 is if the project's not going to see any water. The difference between Titebond 2 and Titebond 3 is Titebond 2 says it's water resistant, and Titebond 3 says it's waterproof. So this does say it's interior exterior. I'm gonna try it out and see what happens. I'm using number 8 construction screws, and the reason I'm using these particular ones is their Torx head. These are the way to go instead of Phillips. They use the Torx bit, this little star drive bit right here. Definitely they have the advantage over Phillips because they don't strip out as easily. So if you're going to be doing any kind of woodworking, I definitely recommend using the Torx head bits and not the Phillips head bits. And I found the best glue spreader is just use your finger. If there's any Office fans out there, I think you know what Michael Scott would have said. I might want to drill pilot holes. That's exactly what I'm going to do.
Drilling pilot holes help prevent the wood from splitting, and using this countersink bit also helps wood from splitting and allows the head of the screw to drop below the wood surface.
So I'll just wipe off the excess glue here. I'm not really worried about getting all the glue off because I'm not staining this project. I'm gonna be painting it, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, so I think I figured out the best way to make these leg assemblies. I'm just gonna make 3 more. All right, I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna put these leg assemblies together and start building the box. So I'm going to build these cross brace side member things first, and we'll go from there, see what it looks like. Okay, so the way it's gonna work is these short sides will go in like this. I'll screw this down, try to make sure everything's square, and go from there. I'm gonna put one of these towards the bottom to keep everything square. Okay, you can kind of see how it's coming together. This is the inside of one short side. So I'm gonna glue and screw this in.
And I'm just using this framing square just to make sure everything's squared up.
So after all that, that's what I've got so far. All right, this is one part where I'm going to deviate from the plans a little bit. I've got this extra 1x3, and I'm going to rip this in half to make the cleats. I know that these cleats are going to be as long as these 33-inch boards, so I'll just use one of these 33-inch boards as a reference. So I'll just make sure this end is flush, bring the blade down. Where's my gripper? There's my gripper. Got this for Christmas. It's the gripper by Microjig, and it is freaking awesome. It's a really safe way to guide the wood past the blade. So I'm going to glue and screw those. Okay. so one of the changes I'm going to make is I am not going to have 2 rows. There's just not enough room here to justify 2 rows of cleats. For right now, we're going to do the, it's going to be a 12-inch deep bed, and we'll see how that goes. Starting to come together. There we go. Close enough. I mean, honestly, this doesn't have to be perfect because it's going to be going outside. The wood's going to move a lot, and quite honestly, I'm making this for my mom, and I'm sure she would be perfectly happy if I glued 2 popsicle sticks together and gave it to her. That's just the way moms are. So I'm using these wood screws and I got this one come out of the box. Alright, so far so good. I'm going to flip this over, put the sides on the other side, and then cut out the slats.
There's that piece that broke earlier that I just decided to glue back in place.
Last part, I'm going to take a real world measurement in between the cleats to see how long I need to cut my slats. Now my plans call for 21 inches.
And I realize I've made a mistake. In 3, 2, 1...
I made an error, but it's okay. It turned out just fine because I'm just making a box. But let me bring you over here and show you what I did. So what I did was, originally in the plans, I cut out the 36-inch pieces to use as legs, the 33-inch pieces to use as the long side here, and I was going to cut out the 21-inch pieces to use as slats, and then separately I was going to cut out the 22.5-inch pieces to use on the short side. What I accidentally did is I ended up using, I forgot that I had designated these as slats and these as the side pieces, and I used these pieces as the side pieces. That's fine because when I measured this, it was just an arbitrary measurement. So what I can do now is go back and instead of using these as the slats, they're already being used as the side pieces. I will redo the measurements on these, and I will make the slats, instead of 21 inches, I'll make them 19.5 inches. Simple fix. That's just one of the things that goes along with doing plans by scratch and not following your own plans to the letter. I'll go ahead and measure out the 19.5 inches, cut it on the chop saw.
Stop block. Don't forget your hearing protection, kid.
One of the extra slats I cut that I ended up not using. Perfect. And that'll give enough space for the water to drain through, I think. Okay, the only thing I have left to do is paint it, and I'm going to sand over some of the rough edges and prevent it from splintering a little bit. So I think it turned out pretty good.
Anytime you're sanding, especially with a power sander, it's usually a good idea to wear some kind of dust mask. using a sander to put a 45-degree chamfer on the bottom of the legs, and that's to help prevent the wood from splintering out.
Okay, nothing super fancy here. I'm just going to go over the whole thing with a tack cloth. That'll get all the dust off. And I'm just going to paint it. I've got some latex exterior flat white paint. I'm just going to get to it.
Now, if you're looking for the proper technique on how to paint an outdoor project, this is not the video for you. I took the slats out and painted them, and I waited for them to dry, flipped them over, and painted the other side.
One more coat. Okay, I've got the second coat on. I'm just going to let that dry, put the slats back in, and then on to customization. Using landscape fabric to line the inside, and that will help to keep the dirt in.
Hi, I'm Desiree. I'm Scott's wife. This is a special project for his mom for Mother's Day, and he somehow convinced me to do some of the artwork part of it. So he built a standing planter box that his mom requested, lined it, painted it, and we decided that it was too plain and we needed to put a personal touch to it. So we decided one of her favorite sayings was that she dances to the beat of a different drummer. So we didn't want to put that entire thing on there because way too long. So we decided to shorten it to dance to the beat, ... And I recruited the help of my own talented mother, and we made this stencil. She cut that out for me, so I have a drum stencil, and we're going to put that on there as well. My mother-in-law's favorite color is unfortunately pink. Not my favorite color, but I'm gonna do it for her. So I've got a bunch of stencils. I chose to do kind of a cursive design, so I'm gonna do the lettering in cursive. I've got some tape to put them on there because none of these are sticky. You can get adhesive backed ones that are supposed to be reusable. I find that they don't last too long, but we'll tape it on anyways. All right, so here we go.
Okay, now while she's doing this, I'm going to build something extra for this. I'm going to build a top for it. Because where my mom's at, she actually has, even though she's in the city, she actually has deer come by, and I just want to build something that the deer won't be able to get in. And I got this idea in my head where I'm going to build a small frame that goes around with some chicken wire on top that you can set into place and then just latch onto the side. So I'm going to build that real quick. It's just 4 pieces of wood and some chicken wire, so I'm not going to really highlight that build. I'll just show it to you after I'm done with it. But right now, we're going to focus on her. I love you, sweetheart.
I love you too.
Don't lie just because you're on camera. I might include it in the video.
Huh.
Ha.
Alright, which dot do you like better? The one under the question mark or the one under the exclamation point?
Really? I don't care.
I hate you.
I love you, sweet wife.
Kinking it. Oh, way to get your wife to shut up?
Nah, no, I wasn't trying to shut you up. I mean, now that I know that it works, I might try again in the future.
Not too shabby, I don't think.
Yeah?
Come look.
I like it. Not bad.
Here I'm just making the top that I talked about earlier.
This isn't structural, it's just going to be sitting on top. Okay, so I got this. This is galvanized chicken wire. I got this from Hobby Lobby, and it's let's see, it's 2 foot by 6 foot, and it cost me after the discount like $4.50. So what I'm going to try to do is lay this on top, staple it down, see what it looks like. I was trying to be more like Turner and not his girlfriend in Turner and Hooch. If you don't understand that reference, you need to watch movie Turner and Hooch. Everything's dry. I'm gonna try to put the chicken wire on the top. I hope. I've never worked with chicken wire before. I've worked with concertina wire before. This looks just as bad. All right, Tyler, what can people do to support the YouTube channel?
Like, subscribe, and share.
All right.
And click that bell.
Click that bell. I like that. I want it to have a little bit of play, a little bit of flexibility. Excuse me. Hi, sweetie. So I'm going to put this on top of that so that the critters can't get at my grandma's garden. Isn't that super duper smart of me?
Yeah.
Aren't I the smartest person you've ever met?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Remember, safety first.
Okay. Check the fit. Perfect. My mom will be able to set this down on top of it and prevent any of the critters from getting their little snouts in here. Now, I also bought some draw catches. That's what they're called. I got these at Menards for like, I don't know, $4. And I'm gonna put these on either side to hold it down. And then I'll put these little decorative handles on each side, and hopefully that'll work.
I'm applying some spray lacquer just to protect the lettering and graphic.
Let that dry for just a few minutes, and put it on the coat. Perfect. Wouldn't that be nice if I had sponsors?
Maybe you should ask for that news.
Maybe I should ask for sponsors. Alright. Somebody sponsor me, please. You hear that, Lowe's? I can talk about your military discount that I take advantage of and how you support the veterans. Yeah, I know
No,
what
you
I'm
don't.
doing.
You don't. You haven't got a clue what you're doing.
I'm experimenting.
By putting it on backwards and seeing if it works.
Ow!
Nah.
So, going on with this. Next, I'm going to put on these little decorative handles. You place, I screw.
I would say something, but it is a family channel.
Hold still, please. Your pinky is distracting me.
I know.
Sorry. I'm sorry for the sniffles. I have a cold.
And it's cold in here.
It is a little cold here. While I'm doing this, I'd also like to thank my mother-in-law for letting me use her shop.
Ready? And action. I help. Okay. Take 2 and action. Cut. Take 3 and action.
Okay, this is my version of a raised garden bed on legs. This is a unique project for me because it is the first time I have ever put a concept to paper and then taken those paper plans and actually built something. It's really simple, but it's the first time I've ever done it. So, you know, it's kind of like Nick Offerman said, first you learn how to build a box and then learn how to build a piano. So anyways, this was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed making it. I hope my mom likes it. And remember, if I can do it, you can do it. I'm using Type Bond 2. You guys probably don't want to see my face, but I'm going to show it to you anyways. So I want to make the cleats shorter, narrower, thinner, one of those things. Can you see me?
Those gray hairs. Maybe it's just white paint. No, those are gray hairs.
Actually, I'm going to do a couple things I've never done. Okay. Alright, here it is. This is the planter stand on legs. Is that what it's called? Planter stand?
It's a raised planter
Okay,
bed.
okay, yeah. Alright, here we go. Okay, here you have it. This is my version of a raised, what is it? No, what is it? A plant stand.
A raised
Garden
planting
bed.
bed.
Okay, here it is. This is my version of a raised garden bed on legs.
Thus raised.
What?
That's
No,
what
you can have a raised garden bed that sits down on the ground. That's why they call it a raised garden bed, because it's raised above the, just, never mind. Anyways, this is a raised garden bed on legs. Okay, here we go. Here is the final product. This is my version of a raised garden bed on legs. It's actually the first time I've ever designed something. Okay. This is the first time that I've ever put an idea on thank you. Alright, this is my version of a raised garden bed on feet.
How bad do you really think the deer want that stuff? Do you think they're gonna...
One more time for the camera.
Uh-huh.